Hello and welcome to episode 58 of the Post 20 podcast. This is the very first episode sorry, I don't know what's in my hand. This is the very first episode that Matt and I are doing a video recording. This is a new thing that we're trying out. We're going to start to upload these to YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you're seeing our faces, then hello for the very first time. And if you're not and you're on the traditional avenues of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or SoundCloud, then don't worry about it. The show will be the exact same. This is just something that we wanted to try to do. We're going to also try and maybe start to stream these on Twitch. But that's like we're gonna give that a couple more weeks and see how this goes first. Um, that being said, hello Matt, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, dude? New year, new style format for us, growing the brand in every way we can for the audience. Now we got the visual listeners that want to see what we're doing. Repping the Buckeye jersey, big game Monday
Yep, I have my
against
six.
against fucking Bama.
I have my Sixers crew neck on. I copped a nice Mitchell and Ness one before Christmas. Got it on sale, so both repping our
Mitchell and
teams.
Ness, Mitchell and Ness is a reliable group to buy stuff from. Their
It
products
truly
are
is.
fucking nutty.
Yeah, I mean it's some of the the jerseys that they have, like the authentic stuff.
hmm
I have an authentic Eagles jersey. Dude, that shit was expensive. Like that there it's nice quality, but if you don't get it on sale, it's just extreme pricing.
Yeah, football jerseys are the most expensive.
Yeah, by far. I have all kinds of basketball jerseys and soccer jerseys and stuff. They're
Mhm.
they're kind of reasonably priced. Football jerseys are crazy, bro.
All right, I guess let's hop into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, we will be recapping match day 17 as well as going over a rescheduled game, Burnley versus Manchester United, and then the rest of match day 18 in this episode. I'm on a bit of a time crunch, so we're gonna run through these ones quick. The first game that we'll be recapping is Everton versus West Ham. That happened on the first day of the new year. Everton fell to West Ham after a 86th minute goal by new signing Tomas Soucek, who continues to impress. Did you watch this game, Matt?
Yeah, I saw the end of it. I was just coming home from. Oh no, I wasn't coming home from work. I was off that day because it was a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, being an idiot. But nah, my boy Suchek got him on my fantasy. Scored a late winner. Also got the assist from Cresswell. Also on my fantasy. So I'm five weeks on the bounce. I got W's going into six in a row. Hopefully, I'm trying to climb back in this fantasy table that we're in. But yeah, back to the game. Everton just couldn't put it away. I mean, their best performer was Pickford, who was, I would say, the last 15 minutes, West Ham outlasted them and weathered the storm. It was kind of a cheesy goal in a way. Cresswell just took a long shot. It was like kind of a prayer, and it went through six guys and ended up off Suchek's foot. And then they got the late winner. But I mean, that game could have gone either way. I mean, you got to give credit to some of the Everton guys. They've been really lacking in the goal scoring department of recently.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're dropping. Like they're all the way down into 12th position. Oh no, that's last year's. Hold up. Sorry.
Well, you're looking at last year's table?
Yeah, I pulled up the wrong thing, being an idiot still. No, they're in seventh. So I mean that early form's dropped off and now you're seeing the standard Everton.
Yeah, the mid table, sluggish, grinded out type of Everton gameplay that you're used to watching. It seems like they may be returning to that, and it's unfortunate that you lack the creativity in the middle of the park there. That's certainly what's hurting them. I would say that James had transformed the way that they were playing. At the beginning of the season, between James, Richarlison, and DCL, they had a really nice attacking force there, and that's obviously fallen off. And they're not scoring as many goals as they should be, and they have to be looking to get more than a loss against West Ham. I know West Ham are playing okay right now, and maybe that's a team that you can take a draw against and say, okay, we'll be better next week. But you can't take a loss there. I mean, that's just Everton have to be expecting more.
hmm Totally agree.
Did you see Haller is leaving for Ajax? 20 mil.
Yeah, West Ham lost a little over half their investment on him. They bought him for 47 and a half, I believe, 1 or 2 years ago.
Yep.
Complete flop. Yeah, he scored a bicycle kick, but who gives a
That
shit?
was it, right? That's the only
You're
good goal
literally
I remember.
his style of play doesn't suit them, and now that they sold him, he was one of their two strikers they rotated, the other being Mikel Antonio. Now they're in the market desperately looking for a replacement. They're targeting Nketiah from Arsenal.
No, you can't have him.
They're looking at Giroud, and I'm sure they're looking at a couple others, but they have like 3 weeks to try to figure that out. But if Antonio can't stay fit during this time period, they're really going to struggle. They're going to have to do what City's doing and play like a winger as like a shadow striker. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage with just Antonio right now. But they'll eventually pick somebody up.
Do they have Yarmolenko? No, that's not them.
Yeah,
Who
they do.
they do have him still?
Yeah, they got him. They got Bowen.
Yeah, you'd
Um,
want to see one of those quicker guys up top. I don't know if Bowen would slot in there, but Yarmolenko, I'd like to see how he'd do. Does he even get playing time or no?
he's like a rotation. They
Yeah.
sold Robert Snodgrass to
Yeah.
West Brom. That was Sam Allardyce's first bit of business. He's gonna
Yeah.
get Big Rob Snod.
He's just gonna buy a big, tall, white guy, which is what he's used his entire career to keep teams out of the relegation zone.
Not gonna help.
That's funny. No, that's not gonna be enough
Always
to
it's
save
always
them.
a problem. It's always a problem when you're playing 37-year-old Bronislav Ivanovic back there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna get to that in just a few minutes here. When we talk about Arsenal. But the next game was Man United versus Aston Villa. United got really fucking lucky here. I,
True.
I think that although they did outplay Villa, they didn't outplay them by much. The possession was fairly evenly matched. Villa had 5 shots on target versus United's 9. Anthony Martial and Bruno Fernandes were the 2 goal scorers for United, while Bertrand Traore scored on the 58th for Villa. Um, United, I think, looked better in the first half than they did in the second. Obviously, they were saved once again by a Bruno Fernandes penalty in the 61st. But I think that they were really lucky to get away with 3 points here. I thought this may be a draw, especially after Traore equalized in the 58th.
Yeah, I totally agree. This game should have ended in a draw. Obviously, over the previous weekend, a lot of the top managers are calling out against the refs favoriting United in some of these chances. I
Mhm.
think in the past 4 or 5 seasons, Man United's been awarded the most VAR penalties, around like 37, and then they broke down all the differences. Rashford and Martial, I think, tied for the most, 7 each.
Yep.
So I mean that's just gossip. I mean that not gossip, but that's just to get some headliners and the papers to make some extra money off that. But it doesn't mean anything. I don't think that they do it on purpose. It just comes down to a referee's decision at the moment, and the VAR guy agrees with them. I don't know. It's just how it works out. I don't want to say it's blatantly cheating and favoring them, but it's kind of fishy sometimes how the lightest of touches, like I would say the Reece James clip for which match was that? Was that Aston
That
Villa?
was the Arsenal game, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Arsenal game. The
Yeah.
the first goal they got was off a penalty, and it was
Mm.
just a little clip off Smith Rowe's heel.
Yeah, it
Like
was dubious. I don't know if I would have called a pen there.
just like little things like that are fishy to me. But yeah, this going back to the match and how it finished. Yeah, it should have ended in a draw. I mean, Ollie
Oh, I think I lost
Watkins is
you.
turning an absolute shithead. He's not scoring. That's his. Yeah, Ollie Watkins isn't doing anything. I think that's why they lost this game. He literally just can't score. I mean, I said going into this match for the predictions, Wan-Bissaka was going to lock down Grealish, and he did. Grealish really didn't do much.
Yeah.
He was creating chances, but he couldn't put anything away. So, Man United's back line's been holding up pretty well. They have been rotating Lindelof and Bailly, and both have been doing pretty well. So, Man United, I think, deserves to be in the position they are now, tied for first. But I think it's building up to this clash against Liverpool in the next 2 weeks, which is going to turn out to be a really interesting match.
Yeah. Liverpool are playing right now. I think. I don't know if that game has ended yet. They're actually playing Villa. They conceded first, but I think that they've been beating on Villa since that first
Yeah,
goal.
it ended 4-1 in Liverpool's favor.
Yeah, so I think that it will be an interesting match when you see United take on Liverpool. By then, I would imagine they would still be the first and second position teams, barring and some type of shakeup in the expected results in the next two fixtures for both of those teams. But we will have to see. Once again, to round this off, United getting lucky again, and the penalty thing. While I agree with you that it's just the way that the refs are calling it. Um, it is strange that United gets so many when you look at a team like Liverpool who don't get as many penalties. And Klopp said this. He said this, when British media questioned him about it, and he said, look at our penalties versus United's penalties. But what he's failing to put into that equation is how many penalties are other top tier clubs getting? Chelsea don't get a lot of pens. Arsenal don't get a lot of pens. City don't get a lot of pens. Like United is the only club that gets this many penalties. Martial or not Martial? Fucking what's his name? Oh, Rashford. Rashford and Fernandez are the ones that that really get penalties called.
Yeah, I mean, within the last 3 years, United's been given the most. Uh, 3 seasons ago, they got 12, which was the most in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, they received 14, being the most. And this year, they're second in the league, given six. Leicester's the only one beating them. They've been given 10.
That's a
Um,
lot.
but yeah, since VAR, they've been around that top end.
Yeah,
I think it's just how it works out in games. I
me
think
too.
that's a certain game tactic you tell your players. You get in specific areas and you make the defender make a mistake. I think that's a coaching strategy out there I would implement. Because if you're in these tight games where you can't break them down and you can't get the ball in the right spot, why not make the defender make a mistake and he trips you? Take the easy way out. Sometimes you have to do that to get the results you need.
Yeah. Moving on, the next match took place on the 2nd of January. Tottenham Hotspur took on Leeds United. Tottenham Hotspur emerged victorious 3-0. A Harry Kane penalty in the 29th, a Heung-min Son goal in the 43rd. It was a good goal. And a Toby Alderweireld goal in the 50th. Netted 3 for Tottenham versus a Leeds United side who didn't look their sharpest. Matt Doherty got a red in the 92nd minute, costing me fantasy points, of course. And this was an interesting game. Leeds dominated the possession, but didn't look sharp in front of the net. They only had 5 shots on target. With a team like Leeds having 64% possession, you'd expect more shots on target because they launch an awful lot of shots at the goal. Tottenham only had 36% possession, 7 shots on target, and they converted 3 of those. So it was a clinical performance by Mourinho's boys. What did you think about this match?
This was a probably Mourinho's perfect vision of how a game would work out.
Yeah,
They hold the ball as little as possible, so they have the least amount of chances to make mistakes on the ball. And when they do have the ball, they're in counterattack situations where you're feeding these your playmakers who you want to have the ball and will create the chances and will burying them. And Kane and Son did do that, and then Alderweireld gets a little goodie bag to end the day with his. But we've been saying this week in and week out. This is a Spurs side that don't like having the ball. They just counter and they do their thing and leave. And we both predicted Leeds to get a win here. We were completely off. It was just
yeah.
going to work out in their favor. Leeds, I would say, is top three, one of the worst defensive teams in the
They
league.
don't play
Or
defense. They just don't do
yeah,
it.
yeah, Bielsa doesn't give a fuck. He
No.
says we're gonna go out there, balls to the wall, and if we get scored on, whatever, we'll try to bury him back. But
Hmm.
it couldn't in this game. Spurs is just a team that is ready to get pounded on in possession, and defensively they just held up. And if I'm Leeds and Bielsa and the board there, I'm investing in at least two defenders in this month because they really need this depth and rotation for these guys, and they need some experience because these guys have not played in the Premier League before, and they need that experience. So they really need to find somebody to help them out.
Okay. While I agree with you, I have a question for you because I was watching Robbie Earl and Robbie Musto, right? On NBC.
Yeah,
So they have their own podcast called The Two Robbies, and I listen to it after each match week, to get some of their, extended insights, not just the desk stuff that you get normally. And um Robbie Earl, he was defending Leeds in the way that they play, while Musto, or it was reversed, either way. One of them was not happy with the way that Leeds were playing and said that the fact that they don't play defense is bad for the league, and the other said that he doesn't mind it. He thinks it's okay. Do you find yourself fitting into either of those camps or no? Because I certainly do.
yeah, I see myself saying I like how they play. It makes
Yeah.
every match interesting to watch.
Hmm.
You invest into these attacking players because given any minute and any chance that Leeds has a potential to score,
Hmm.
if they're playing sit back just like all these other promoted teams and lower level teams, then it's kind of boring and you know what the result's going to turn out to be. But if, like I said, if they invest their money in the right areas, and apparently they do have the money to spend, then I think they can clean their act up and they can push. I 100% don't think they're going to get relegated because
No.
when they play this style against the big clubs, they're eventually going to steal some points.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
they
I
already
think
have.
they yeah, and they dominate the smaller teams when they play like this because they play like a established club that's dominating these little teams and should. So I think they play perfectly fine and they shouldn't change. And I don't think Bielsa's a guy to take what these people say, the pundits and all that, to heart. He's just gonna do what he wants,
Yeah.
and if they don't like it, he'd probably tell him go fuck himself.
I think you're entirely right, and I agree with you. I find myself agreeing with exactly what you just said. I don't think that he should change at all. But I do disagree with the fact that they should bring defenders in because he's just not going to use them. Buy better attacking players. I mean, he's not going to use those defenders. Maybe buy defensive midfielders, box to box guys. A guy to pair with Phillips. But fuck, I mean, whoa, is he going to really use? Is he going to use center halves? Like, what's a better
Well,
center half there? It doesn't even matter. They don't play defense.
I would say if they could nick somebody off a mid-table team, or
Yeah,
like if he goes to Germany or Italy, I think you can get somebody solid for 20 to 30 mil
yeah,
just to add some extra leadership back there. And yeah, I'm sure they could get a young winger. I mean, you could get a striker to back up Bamford because Bamford's been in perfectly good health. He's never been injured so far, so they haven't had to worry about that situation yet. But if you have to, I would say invest in a striker, an attacking mid, and maybe a center back.
yeah. I think an attacking mid. Of course they would benefit from getting a better center back, right? Of course they would. But it surprises me each week when I watch them play, like to see how little they play out of the back. The ball is never back there. If the ball's back there, it's in the net. That's it.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
their next few weeks are looking in their favor.
yeah. We will move on to the next match: Crystal Palace versus
Oh
Sheffield United.
God.
Not much to say here. This was this the one that Eze absolutely fried them and dribbled up the pitch and scored?
Yeah, I mentioned
Yeah.
this on Monday's episode for me. I said it was the worst call of 2021 so far on my part.
Yeah.
I thought this was the match for Sheffield. This was the
No.
time Chris Wilder was getting his 100th club win.
Mm.
He still hasn't gotten it since July. Um,
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, me too.
People are saying he should quit. I don't. I think once he gets his 100th win, he should quit, just as a
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
Um, But no, this was a terrible take. Yes, Eze scored probably one of the goals of the season. He got the ball at midfield, dribbled through everybody, and then like finessed it bottom corner, which was pretty chill. He actually came on as a sub like 10 minutes into or 10, 20 minutes into the game for Schlupp, who scored the first. He
Yeah.
came off with an injury, but yeah, it was a first half game. The two goals came in the first half, and then the second half was boring as fuck. So I mean, yeah, Palace got a crucial win that they needed, a big confidence booster to make sure they stay out of that relegation battle. Um, I mean, they sit at 14th on 22 points. You're only 7 points off top 4.
Yeah.
So, if you're Roy Hodgson, yeah, you're in the 14th position, but, like, I'm only 7 points off Europe, so you can't be mad at me.
No. My
Even
fucking
though we
lights
believe
keep going
Palace
off.
is a shithole team, and I did listen to the commentators, they did say Palace's defense is the oldest in the league on average.
Yes. So,
So,
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a result that you can't frown at for Palace, right? It was a result that they needed, and they'll be happy to get a 2-0. Don't think that they would have got that result against a team that was even just slightly better than Sheffield, but I guess they'll be moving on and looking to see what they have next week. The next match was Brighton Wolves, which was an absolute banger, 3-3. Uh, Aaron Connolly scoring in the 13th for Brighton, Neil Mapai in the 46th on a penalty, and Lewis Dunk scored an equalizer in the 70th minute. Romain Saiss scored again. He scored last week. There was a 34th minute own goal by Dan Burn, and then Ruben Neves scored a penalty in the 44th for Wolves. This was a belter all the way through. I mean, I watched this one. I bet on Wolves, and unfortunately, they let me down after going up 3-1.
yeah, this game could have gone either way. It was your typical if you're watching an NFL game, it's like your team you get the good momentum, it's like a roller coaster, and then we hit the plateau, and then we get some slump, and then we get a little bit more, and then we hit the witching hour, and then you get absolutely stabbed in the fucking neck.
Yep.
Um, if you're a neutral and you had nothing on the game, yeah, this was an enjoyable game to watch. If you're new to soccer, this is a game you need to watch to enjoy the little things. Romain Saiss is probably the most lethal defender
Yeah,
in the
bro,
league.
he's
Whenever that man
amazing.
is near the box, he will most likely get a solid chance on goal.
He's really good. I
Yeah, he's
mean,
pretty solid.
where did he come from?
I have no clue. I think he's Moroccan. I mean, those Wolves scouts know what they're doing. They find little hidden gems out there. I wouldn't be
Always.
surprised if he came from the Portuguese league,
France.
but no, he came from the French league.
He
Nice.
played for Angers, however the fuck you
Ooh,
say that shit.
your farmer boys.
Yes, my French farmers, indeed.
Yeah, Lewis Dunk. I think he scored for the second time in 3 matches or something. Mupai the same. And you see Neves on the score sheet. You think he scored an absolute screamer, but it was just a pen. So
Yep.
yeah, a lot of guys played well in this game. Defensively, it wasn't there, but very interesting. I think both teams would be happy with the draw here. Brighton, maybe not as much. They've recently, in their last 5 matches, 4 of them have been draws, and they're only 3 points above the relegation zone. So they're going to need to pull a couple wins together soon.
Yeah, they need to be looking to get some points in this congested period before things start to get back towards normalcy. Obviously, we are kind of looking down the barrel of a loaded gun here with the COVID cases. There was 40 positive tests as of 2 days ago, which is an astounding number. But that's just what happens, especially with the congestion, like I talked about on Wake Up Wednesday. You know, when all these clubs are meeting each other so quickly and so closely, and in such close proximity, this is what happens. And although it's unfortunate, it is part of running a league in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm hoping that we don't see, a pause here because some of these teams have momentum and that momentum is what we're going to use to segue into the next match. My Arsenal Football Club took on West Brom at the Hawthorns. They beat them 4-0 in the snow. What a game. What an absolute joy to watch Arsenal Football Club once again.
Yeah, I mean, I was texting you during the game. I was saying we were talking about soccer, and I said your boy's dancing on the main stage.
Yeah. He continues to impress. And Kieran Tierney was the one that opened the scoring here in the 23rd minute with an absolutely dashing run up the left flank. He spun himself in, did a little bit of a scoop turn, and finished. Great goal. It was kind of a solo effort. Saka scored in the 28th, and then Lacazette scored two within 4 minutes in the 60th and the 64th. Arsenal dominated in both possession and shots on target. 62% possession with 12 shots on target. They absolutely battered Big Sam's West Brom. And it was good to see. This is the third win in a row for Arsenal. Obviously, we had Chelsea, then we did Brighton last week, and West Brom this week. I think we have, who do we have next week?
You play
Crystal Palace. So that should be 4. It won't be. I bet we lose, but Arsenal are surging. We're only a few points behind your beloved club now.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah, they're kind of slipping. Next match was Newcastle versus Leicester City. Leicester won 2-1 in an actually quite impressive performance by Newcastle. I expected this game to be a little bit more tilted in Leicester's favor. It was only 2-1. Madison scored in the 55th. Tielemans scored in the 72nd. And then Andy Carroll got one back at the end for Newcastle. That's Andy Carroll's one goal of the year that he always scores.
Yeah, this game was won in the first half by Leicester. James Madison looked like he should have had at least 3.
Yeah.
And Tielemans' goals was fucking sexy as shit. He gets the ball whipped in from the right side by Mark Albright, and then first time finesse bottom corner. It was fucking sexy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have been at least 3-0 by the half, but they couldn't put away their dinner, and Newcastle, I believe the last 20 to 25 minutes, got control of the game, and Carroll got his one goal, like you said, back. They said that was the first goal he scored for Newcastle in 10 years.
Yep.
Obviously, he's played for a couple other clubs in between that time, but
Mhm.
they had their chances to tie this game up, but came to nothing there. Newcastle, just like Palace, just sitting around um, that relegation zone battle, but they just can't find any creativity in the middle. The middle of their field is so fucking stale.
Yeah. It's
They
old.
they they cannot get the ball to their guys up top.
It's just old. I mean, you have both long staffs, right? They're just sitting there in the middle of the park doing fucking nothing. And then you have Wilson up top and Joelinton on the left and Almiron on the right. And I just don't think Almiron is really anything special. He looked good when he was in the MLS, but not a huge impressor in the Prem since he's gone there. And then Joelinton, I think he's kind of, gone too. Um they need to just get some fresh blood in. I'm not really overjoyed ever watching Newcastle, and until the ownership situation changes there, then nothing's really gonna change. Good result for Leicester, 2-1. They should have won the game. Moving on, we have Chelsea versus Man City. Man City battered Chelsea 3-1. In a span of about 16 minutes. City scored 3 goals, and then it was quiet until stoppage time when CHO got one back in the 92nd. I'm gonna let you handle this one. It was a joy to watch for me.
Yeah, I this was the game on Monday, right?
Yeah,
Oh
the
no, it was
the,
Sunday.
the third.
Yeah,
No, it was Sunday.
yeah. I had like a day to process it. I talked about it on my show, and yeah, my main thing I said was there was a 10-minute period where Man City just took their meat out and put it right on Frank's forehead.
Yeah.
It was classic Pep ball where every time they moved the ball and a Chelsea defender approached them, the ball already moved on to the next player.
Yep.
And Phil Foden is a player that does not get consistent game time at City. He's a young England star, you should say, starlet, whatever you want to call him,
Hmm.
that deserves to start for that team but doesn't. Pep says he just in that final area, there's just something he's just it isn't there yet for him
Yeah.
to play him consistently. And I think in the next World Cup he'll play a major key for England with how well they do.
Hmm.
But yeah, he had a goal and assist. He tore us apart. Kevin De Bruyne always scores against Chelsea. I mean, whenever there's a former Chelsea player that plays Chelsea, they will guarantee score,
Yeah.
um, because of how they were treated. Because Chelsea literally benches Chelsea buys players just so other teams can't have them,
Hmm.
and that's something they did with De Bruyne, Salah, Lukaku at times. But I mean, from a game perspective, Callum Hudson-Odoi only scores when nobody gives a fuck and nobody's
Yeah,
watching. He
it's
did the
true.
same thing against Arsenal. He scored with the last 5 minutes of that game. Um, but yeah, moving forward, there's already talks of Frank potentially being done, whatever, and he's come out and said that this is the best time to manage for him. He enjoys when he has to coach through the worst, which I would say is a positive sign to see. But if you're not going to be able to get 3 points against Fulham, then what the fuck? They've obviously had their last two matches postponed due to COVID, so they've had 3 weeks of rest coming into this match, even if it's good, or we don't even know if it's going to happen if they have
Yeah.
more cases, whatever that is. But as of right now, it is still a go for the 15th. But yeah, 3 points puts them right back in the mix, and they really need to find their scoring boots. Timo Werner, big letdown. Kai Havertz turned to bench warmer now.
Yep.
So I don't really have anything new to say about it until this Fulham match is completed.
Yes. I agree. Sorry, I'm just reading a text message. Yeah, it was good to see Chelsea are continuing their slide. I'm kind of just praying on everyone else's downfall at this point, so Arsenal can get themselves back into a competitive position. And at this point, it kind of looks like they're going to. Chelsea are not the only club that are sliding. We have the almighty Liverpool sliding as well. Southampton beat Liverpool 1-0 on the 4th of January. Danny Ings scored in the second, ex-Liverpool player. That was the only goal in the entire game. It was a defensive battle, only 4 total shots on target. While Liverpool dominated possession, it was not enough to guarantee them a goal. 33% possession for Southampton, but that goal in the second minute was the difference. Ralph Hasenhuttl, their manager, broke down, was on his knees crying when he beat Klopp's Giants this weekend. Uh, oh, it felt good to watch that. It really did. I really like I like Hasenhuttl as a manager, and I like the way that Southampton have been playing this season. They really grind their results out. They're respectful enough, I think, and I just can appreciate the style that they play. You know, it's kind of a ragtag group of players, but they're really impressing.
Yeah, the first time Southampton's gotten a dub over Liverpool since 2015.
Hmm.
Yeah, Hasselhoeffel is a genuine dude, deserves everything he's gotten so far. Um, Liverpool is slipping. The whole season they've been getting draws. They have the most draws this year with 6,
Hmm.
still sitting up top, joint with Man United, as we've said before. Nobody can pull away. Right now, Man United and City have that form to where if they continue, it's going to be a two-legged race. But I doubt that's going to happen. I'm sure they'll slip up too. This is the closest season I've ever watched in recent memory
Yeah, me
to
too.
where it's anybody's game. I mean, Arsenal has a genuine case to get into this top four mix as well.
I
So
know.
anything can happen. I think the January window is going to be a deciding factor to see who gets an extra boost of momentum in their step, extra pep in their step, I should say. But yeah, Danny Ings, like we said with the Chelsea foreign players scoring against them, Ings, a former Liverpool, there in time to use Ings. I think he was just leaving as Klopp got there
Yeah,
after the Barrage era. So yeah, Danny Ings still battling with injury issues. If he can put the rest of the season together, um, I think he could put a really good case for the Golden Boot. He can get back in the mix. Yeah, Liverpool. This match was almost identical to the when they played Newcastle the previous week.
yeah,
Just it was exactly the same amount of shots, 17 on target. They only had one.
yeah.
The Newcastle only had two. They try to put the ball right at the top of the 6-yard box and tap it in. There were 3 or 4 golden opportunities that I saw where Mane and Salah or Shaqiri, or even the fullbacks had the ball on the corner of, like, the 12-yard area, and they coulda just smashed it near post
Yeah,
and
but they
hoped it
cross
squeaked
it.
in. That's what I'm saying. They try to put it
It's
into that middle every time, and those center backs and the holding mids know exactly where the ball's going because
every time.
only Firmino, Salah, and maybe an attacking mid there are in that area. And the Southampton players completely scuff that pass. So why not take a chance? And worst case scenario, you get a corner kick and you get your tall guys in there. So
Yep.
they need to actually take these half chances. They're trying to get the full 100% guaranteed chance. You need to take these half chances on that potentially might go in your favor.
They have so much talent and so much skill in those halfbacks, and obviously they're wingers and strikers. Like, I just don't understand why they're not taking the half chances because what just because it's a half chance, doesn't mean that it's not going to go in. I'd say a majority of the teams in the Prem rely on the half chances as their way
Yeah.
to win, and Liverpool seem just not content in doing that. So if they want to continue to lose because they're, not happy with playing the ball in many different manners instead of just dribbling up and fucking crossing the ball, it's like playing a game of FIFA, It's like playing against a guy that can only score one way. It's boring to watch and it's just fucking ugly, man. Get it together. Klopp and Liverpool have to get this together. Klopp's, I would say, the best manager in the world. He's got to figure this out, dude. It's very fucking simple.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, the first match that we're going to go over here, we're going to be quick because I got to run. Burnley take on Manchester United on the 12th at 3:15. It's actually not the first match of the day, but what do you think here? I think United win. I think they continue their hot streak. I think it's a 2-0 win for United.
Yeah, this is an easy pick rolling here. Burnley still can't score, and only 9 for them. The only good thing going from them right now is they don't concede a lot. They've only given up 20 goals, which is down towards the bottom, the least. It's the least amount given in the bottom 10, up there with Arsenal. United are just in form. Head to head, Man United dominates this matchup with where is it? Hold on. Can't find them. They're not on. Whatever. But yeah, I think United wins this easy 3-0. I think they're given another penalty. I think it spices up the story of penalty controversy. So I think Bruno's going to get a penalty goal here too.
Okay. Next match, Sheffield versus Newcastle, battle of the fucking shitters. This is probably a game that I would be more comfortable with taking Newcastle in or Sheffield in because I just think Newcastle are really flat and they're not scorers. A lucky goal here could be the difference for either team. That being said, I'm going to go against what I just mentioned
Oh,
and take Newcastle to win. It'll be 1-0, but it won't be a draw here, I don't think. I think it'll be one lucky goal that separates the teams.
I'm going back. I'm hopping back on the board. I don't give a fuck. I think this is the week Sheffield.
Dude, no,
Every week I'm
no,
taking Sheffield.
it's not gonna happen.
This is the week. This is the week. I know I said Crystal Palace last week. Yeah, they lost 7-0, 3-0. I was like, oh, yeah, Sheffield. Nah, I was completely wrong. This week, Newcastle, like I said, they can't find their strikers. Callum Wilson hasn't scored in the past couple weeks. You got Big Voldemort in the middle. I think this is the week Chris Wilder gets his 100th win, and this is where they turn it around. And with this win, they're going to attract somebody to come and rot and get relegated eventually. But this is the week Sheffield wins.
Okay. Next game, Wolves versus Everton. Maybe the marquee matchup of the week. In my opinion, it is. Oh, this could be an interesting one. Everton are going to be looking to bounce back after the loss versus West Ham last week. Wolves, not last week, 2 weeks ago that was. Wolves having a 3-3 draw at Brighton. Not a great result for them either. That being said, I think Everton are going to be more hungry for this. I don't know what James' timetable is still. But I'm going to disregard that and say Everton actually win 1-0 here. I don't think it's a lot of goals.
Yeah, this is going to be a low scoring match, head to head. The game's pretty split. 4 going to Everton, 3 going to Wolves. Pretty even on the goals front, and not many clean sheets. So this is going to turn out to be a low scoring game, like you said. Um, my gut instinct wants to say draw. With the way Wolves plays, they're still trying to figure out how to play without Jimenez up top. They're going with all their little men and trying to fit Traore up there. But James is fit, and when he's on his game, he can turn it the fuck up. So I'm gonna say Everton here 2-1.
Yeah. Manchester City versus Brighton takes place on the 13th, 1 p.m. Ooh, it could be an interesting game. I think Brighton will be looking to play spoiler here. Only 3 points off the relegation zone for them, so they definitely need to keep getting points here and strengthening their position in the table. 2 points behind Burnley, who sit in 16th. Brighton are at 17th. City are in 6th place with 29 points, tied with both Tottenham and Southampton. I think City win here. They're going to be carrying momentum from their FA Cup bout versus United yesterday, and then obviously from their prior fixture. I'm going to take City here.
This game, Evan,
Yeah,
is an absolute rout.
you think so?
Man City have played Brighton only 6 times. They've won all 6 games, outscoring Brighton 20-2. Um, Brighton can never ever play good against City. The last 2 matches, City won 5-0, and the one before that 4-0. This is at least 3 goals. I think this is a match that Pep tests out Aguero's fitness, and I think Aguero bags one. De Bruyne is going to absolutely run riot on Brighton's midfield. They're not going to know what the fuck to do. And this is going to continue the role of Man City and all the oil money. So they're going to be climbing the league. They're going to climb it up there with Man United, and they're going to be in the top 2 after this weekend.
Okay. We're both agreeing that City win this game then. Next game, Aston Villa versus Tottenham. I bet against Tottenham last week. I'm going to bet on Tottenham this week. I think that they beat Villa. Once again, Villa are a team that can surprise you. They're only 3 points off of the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place teams who have 29. Villa are only 3 points behind them. So this could be an interesting one for sure. I think Villa have the quality to beat Tottenham, especially if it's one of those games where, they Tottenham just sit back and counterattack, which is how they play. I think Villa could certainly play possession here and beat Tottenham, but I'm gonna bet on Tottenham just because I think they do have more quality overall.
This is a game that's heavily going to depend on Matty Cash and Matt Target, the fullbacks for Villa. How well they recover on the counterattacks from Spurs. We know Son, Lucas, and Kane, and whoever else they have up there on Dembele, whoever that is, doesn't matter. Their counterattacks is how they win games. And if those young fullbacks overcommit at times or get caught out, it's going to be over. They're going to leave Mings and Konza high and dry. I think this is a match Spurs win. You said Villa is going to control possession. I completely agree. Mourinho is happy to give up the ball. He doesn't care as long as they defend well, and they will. I think this is a 2-0, maybe 2-1 to give Aston Villa the benefit of the doubt. Lead win to Tottenham.
Okay, that is fair. The final game that we're going to be going over here is Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. This game takes place on the 14th. Arsenal continue here. They're going to get a win. I'm going to bet on my own team, which you should never do. Sorry, my dog's barking. I think somebody's here, which is my cue. But I think Arsenal win here. I think it's 2-0, 3-0. Palace's defense isn't very good, and Arsenal are obviously streaking. So if Lacazette gets his time here, then I think that we are looking at least 2 goals from him. He's kind of in form.
Yeah, he is. He's been given the nod over Nketiah consistently now, and he's been coming up with the goods. Uh, paying back Arteta for the starts. This matchup, Palace has only won this game 3 times out of 22. Arsenal outscored Palace by 20. We've said that Palace have the oldest defense. Saka's fit. He will run riot down the right, left, wherever they put him. Yeah, I think Arsenal win this game easy, at least 3. I think it's always right to go with the trends, and they've won 3 games in a row. It will be at the Emirates, and I think they continue their role here and they climb up into the top 10.
Yep, I agree. So it seems like Matt and I have most of the same picks this week. That that closes out our games for match day 18. There is a match day 19 that like takes place just a couple days after, right in the middle of the week. That starts obviously with Fulham Chelsea. The thing that we have to consider as well is the fact that these games may not get played. There may be some sort of push coming here with the positive COVID test because it's across many teams now, and it's quite an issue. So we'll have to see. Keep an eye out on that if you're looking to bet on these games. Just be careful because all of these things are always subject to change. Wildcard weekend is this weekend, so there's plenty of amazing sports for you all to watch. In the meantime, all right. Matt, is there anything else you want to say?
No, just make sure if you guys are watching this video on YouTube, click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys are notified when we upload new content every Friday. Also follow us on our socials at Post20Pod. Also get on the streaming platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, so you can listen to our episode on multiple platforms to show how much you support us. And other than that, Evan, I guess you close us out.
Yeah, keep your eyes out, guys, on everything on our Twitters and Instagram. I pretty much moderate the Twitter, and Matt takes care of the Instagram. So if you guys want to let us know anything, if there's anything you want us to talk about, please let us know. Hit us on both of those platforms. And like Matt said, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and all of our streaming platforms for audio as well. We appreciate you guys sticking with us through all of this. And we're excited to see what's coming. So thank you guys all for watching. Matt's doing OHIO. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week, all right?
Peace out, guys.